Our last example is x squared minus y squared equals 4 and y equals x squared. The first equation is the equation of a hyperbola, which you may or may not have seen before. The second equation is the equation of a parabola. We don't have to know what the graph looks like to do this. We can work it out anyway. So let's get it set up. We've got our x squareds, y squareds, y's, and numbers. And we will just copy down the equations. And here I'm going to subtract over the x squared in equation 2 so that everything is on the all of the variables are on the left-hand side and we have numbers on the right-hand side. So if I do that, it looks like I can cancel out the x squareds right away without having to do anything. So I'm just going to add these two lines together. So 0x squared negative y squared plus y is equal to 4. I'll subtract over the 4, negative y squared plus y minus 4 equals 0. I think I would like to multiply both sides by a negative 1 to get y squared minus y plus 4 equals 0. I like that better because if it factors, I like a y squared instead of a negative y squared. I don't think this is going to factor for us because 1 and 4 multiply together to give us a 4, but those numbers can't, in any combination, add up to negative 1. 2 and 2 could multiply together to a 4, but those numbers cannot, in any combination, add up to a negative 1. So let's do our quadratic thing. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So here we're just going to do some order of operations, combine some like terms. 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared is 1. 4 times 4 is 16 times 1 is 16. So I have 1 minus 16 and then all over 2. So this is 1 plus or minus negative 15 under the square root. So that's I, the square root of 15, all over 2. Now, this is not a real number. This is a complex number. So what does that mean? That means there's going to be no solution. Because when we graph our equation 1 and equation 2, we are graphing it on a real x and a real y coordinate system. There aren't any imaginary numbers on this real coordinate system. If you were to go back to these equations, what you will see is that the first equation we called it a hyperbola, and the second equation we called a parabola. So what's happening here is you've got this hyperbola and this parabola, and they're not crossing, they're not intersecting. So the result is imaginary numbers in our y equals, and therefore a no solution.